Welcome, travelers, to a place where the sun sets not just on the land, but on a pantheon of eternal gods. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine standing at the edge of the Sahara, where monuments carved from stone have watched the millennia roll by. Can you feel the heat of the noon sun? Now imagine that sun is not just a ball of fire, but the omnipresent eye of a supreme being, Ra, the sun god. We often look at the pyramids and see only structures of immense scale. But what if I told you that these colossal feats of engineering were simply stage props in a grander, more dramatic story? A story about creation, death, rebirth, and the profound cosmic order that governed the life of every single person in ancient Egypt. These weren't just idols. They were family, judges, protectors, and the very fabric of existence. Tonight, we aren't just reading history. We are embarking on a journey to the heart of the Egyptian soul. We will uncover the true profound meaning behind the faces of the most powerful beings in the Pantheon: Ra, Anubis, Isis, and the others who held the keys to life, death, and eternity. Prepare yourself. Our cultural journey into the mysterious, awe-inspiring world of the Egyptian gods begins now. Welcome to Culture Journey. Let's explore. The civilization of ancient Egypt flourished for over 3,000 years, largely sustained by one miraculous gift: the Nile River. This river, this ribbon of life cutting through the endless desert, became the central metaphor for their entire worldview. Just as the Nile brought annual floods that ensured the harvest and guaranteed survival, the Egyptians believed in a cyclic, ordered universe. They called this order Ma'at, the sacred concept of truth, balance, harmony, and cosmic justice. And who maintained Ma'at? The gods. Unlike many modern religions, the Egyptian gods were not distant, untouchable entities. They were inextricably integrated into daily life. They controlled the weather, the harvest, the fate of the deceased, and the legitimacy of the pharaoh, the living god on earth. Understanding the Egyptian gods is not just memorizing names, it's understanding how a people reconciled life's great mysteries. Why does the sun rise? Where do we go when we die? Why is there suffering? They found their answers in the compelling drama of their pantheon. We'll be meeting the father of creation, the weaver of magic, and the guardian of the afterlife. Their tales are filled with betrayal, love, power, and the eternal quest for immortality. Let's delve deep into the stories that breathed life into the sands of Egypt. Our journey must begin with Ra, the sovereign authority and the most important of all Egyptian deities. He is the sun god, the creator god, and the source of all life. His power was so absolute that the pharaohs were considered his direct descendants. Ra's significance lies not just in his role as a creator, but in his daily cycle. Think about this. Every single morning, the Egyptians watched the sun rise and witnessed Ra being reborn from the darkness. This wasn't a static god. This was a dynamic, fighting god. Every day, Ra sailed his solar barge across the sky, bringing light to the world. And every night, he undertook a perilous passage through the Duat, the underworld, battling the serpent of chaos, Apep, to ensure he could rise again. This battle between Ra and Apep is the quintessential struggle between order Ma'at and chaos, Isfet. The Egyptians believed that if Ra failed just once, the world would be plunged into eternal darkness. When a solar eclipse occurred, the Egyptians were genuinely terrified, believing Apep was momentarily winning the battle. Can you imagine the relief they felt when the light returned? The daily resurrection of Ra gave the Egyptians their fundamental belief that life is cyclical, and death is merely a temporary passage. This belief fundamentally shaped their monumental funerary practices. But if Ra dictates the rebirth above, who guides the soul through the darkness below? If Ra governed life, then Anubis, the jackal-headed god, governed the passage out of it. Anubis is the god of embalming and the vigilant guardian of the necropolis. He wasn't a terrifying figure of doom, but rather a compassionate and indispensable guide. The most critical moment in the Egyptian afterlife was the weighing of the heart ceremony, which took place in the Hall of Two Truths. It was Anubis who led the deceased soul into this hall. Here, the heart of the departed, believed to be the seat of the soul and the record of all their deeds, was ritually placed upon the scale. On the other side was the feather of Ma'at. If the heart was lighter than the feather, meaning the person had lived a righteous, balanced life, according to Ma'at, they passed on to the eternal paradise of the field of reeds. If the heart was heavy with sin, It was devoured by the demon Amit, and the soul was extinguished forever. The ultimate damnation. If you were the one being judged, what single good deed would you want to weigh against the feather of Ma'at? Anubis's role reminds us that for the Egyptians, morality was the key to immortality, and life was a preparation for the Great Judgment. Yet even immortality required a heart as pure as the feather of Ma'at. When faced with the hardest blows of fate, the Egyptians turned to the power of the Great Mother. In the face of tragedy, despair, and the hardest blows of fate, the Egyptians turned to the power of the Great Mother, Isis. Even in a pantheon dominated by powerful male figures, Isis stands out as the most influential goddess. She is the goddess of magic, motherhood, fertility, and healing. Her story is one of unwavering love and magical power, epitomized by her quest to resurrect her husband, Osiris. Osiris, the god of the underworld, was tragically murdered and dismembered by his jealous brother, Set. Isis painstakingly gathered all the fragments of his body and, using her formidable magic, temporarily brought him back to life to conceive their son, Horus. This act made her the ultimate symbol of conjugal devotion, the perfect mother, and a powerful sorceress capable of defying death itself. Isis became a universal figure of protection and healing. She was the one ordinary people, especially women, turned to in times of illness, childbirth, or despair. Her cult was so compelling that it eventually spread far beyond Egypt, deeply influencing Greek and Roman religious practices. She offered hope, healing, and a mother's embrace in a world full of danger and uncertainty. The epic struggle between the gods provided the dramatic structure and moral blueprint for Egyptian mythology. Central to this was the enduring conflict between Horus, the falcon-headed protector of the monarchy and the living pharaoh, and his fierce uncle Set, the embodiment of untamed chaos, storms, and the vast, destructive desert. Their struggle for the throne, following the murder of Osiris, was more than a family feud. It was the ultimate symbolic battle between order and destruction. The ultimate victory of Horus was essential, as it guaranteed the continuation of Ma'at, the cosmic balance. Yet it's a fascinating twist that Set, though often cast as the villain, was never purely evil. He represented the necessary wild forces of nature, the powerful desert storms that, while capable of destruction, were also integral to the world. In a true sign of cosmic complexity, even Ra, the mighty sun god, needed Set's strength to battle the serpent of chaos, Apep, every single night in the underworld. Standing apart from this physical struggle, the ibis-headed Thoth presided as the god of wisdom, writing, science, and magic. He served as the celestial scribe of the gods, meticulously recording every detail, including the critical judgment during the weighing of the heart ceremony. The very existence and reverence for Thoth demonstrate the profound value the ancient Egyptians placed on knowledge and literacy. You could accurately describe Thoth as the universe's original librarian, record keeper, and intellectual architect. You might be surprised to know that these powerful deities were not just confined to the grand solitude of temples. Their presence permeated daily life, manifesting in the names of pharaohs, the intricate architecture of tombs, and the blessings recited before every meal. To truly grasp the depth of Egyptian spirituality, we must briefly extend our travel itinerary to meet the other deities who completed this cosmic structure. The Pantheon was vast, intricate, and deeply localized, meaning different cities often emphasized different gods. First, let's meet Hathor, often depicted as a cow-headed goddess, or a woman with a headdress of cow horns and a sun disk. She was the goddess of love, beauty, music, motherhood, and joy. She was, in many ways, the embodiment of everything good and pleasurable in life. She was the patron goddess of miners, dancers, and artists. Importantly, she also played a crucial role in the afterlife, welcoming the dead into the next world with food and drink. The duality of her nature is fascinating. She could be the gentle, nurturing mother, or, in her fierce form as Sekhmet, the lioness goddess, she could be a terrifying destroyer, sent by Ra to punish humanity. This balance between creation and destruction, love and fury, highlights the complexity the Egyptians saw in the divine feminine. Her worship involved joyful music, dancing, and the famous sistrum, a rattle used in religious ceremonies. Imagine the atmosphere in a temple dedicated to Hathor, filled with music and celebration. It must have been a truly sensory experience. This goddess provided a spiritual outlet for the basic human needs for happiness and emotional connection, anchoring the divine not just in grand cosmic events, but in everyday human delight. Next, we encounter Khnum, the ram-headed god, who held one of the most unique and profound creation roles. He was the divine potter who molded human beings. The Egyptians believed that Khnum created people, their Ka, the life force, and their Ba, the soul, on his potter's wheel from the clay of the Nile. He was specifically associated with the source of the Nile, where the annual flooding began. This connection made him the controller of the river's life-giving waters. His role as the molder of humanity underscores the Egyptian belief that creation was not a one-time event, but an ongoing process overseen by the gods. Furthermore, it subtly placed human creation in the context of craftsmanship and careful, deliberate formation, suggesting that every person was a unique work of divine art. The idea of the divine potter provides a powerful metaphor for destiny and individuality. It makes you wonder, if Khnum molded you, what kind of clay do you think he used for your personality? To understand the structure of the cosmos, we must look to the parents of Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys, Geb and Nut. Geb was the god of the earth, often depicted lying down, with plants growing from his body. He represented the fertile ground of Egypt. His laughter was said to cause earthquakes. Nut was the goddess of the sky, typically depicted arching her star-covered body over Geb. She swallowed the sun, Ra, every evening and gave birth to him every morning. She was the barrier that separated the chaos outside the ordered universe. Their eternal embrace and forced separation, ordained by the air god Shu, represent the physical reality of the sky being separate from the ground, yet their union produces life and the cycle of the sun. The dead were believed to pass into the care of Nut as they ascended to the afterlife. This fundamental mythological couple beautifully visualizes the Egyptian view of the world, a physical, ordered space held in the embrace of two parental deities. The concept of the sky goddess swallowing and rebirthing the sun is a sophisticated metaphor for the cyclical nature of time in the universe, reinforcing the core principle of Ra's daily resurrection. The gods were not merely figures in a story, they were the justification for the entire governmental structure. The pharaoh was considered the living incarnation of Horus on earth. This divine connection gave the pharaoh absolute power, linking the human realm directly to the cosmic order of Ma'at. The temples, such as Karnak and Luxor, were not churches for public worship, but were considered the actual homes of the gods on earth. Only priests and the pharaoh himself could enter the deepest sanctuary, the Holy of Holies, to perform the daily rituals necessary to sustain the god's power, and thus maintain Ma'at for the whole of Egypt. These rituals involved bathing, dressing, and offering food and prayer to the statue of the god, ensuring that the divine was appeased and the universe kept turning. The scale and permanence of the temples were a constant, visible reminder of the god's omnipotence and the pharaoh's unique status as the mediator between the human and divine. The sheer devotion, manifested in stone for thousands of years, remains a breathtaking testament to the enduring power of faith. This deeper look into the Pantheon reminds us that the Egyptian religious landscape was comprehensive, covering every aspect of existence, from the light of the sun to the soil beneath their feet, providing a complete, coherent explanation for the human condition. It's a world where every sunrise was a victory and every death a journey, all choreographed by the powerful hands of their eternal gods. The sheer endurance of this mythology is a testament to its power. Even today, the echoes of Egyptian spirituality can be found everywhere. Anubis's image inspires countless fictional portrayals of the afterlife. The Eye of Horus, or the Wedjat, remains a powerful symbol of protection, often seen in jewelry and pop culture. What is it about these ancient stories that continues to captivate us thousands of years later? Perhaps it's the beautiful simplicity of their answers to complex questions. The sun rises because Ra fights for us. We die, but we can live eternally if we live justly. The depth of their faith is palpable. If you were to walk through the temples of Karnak or Luxor, you wouldn't just see ruins. You would feel the weight of a world where gods walked the earth, and magic was real. Do you think modern society has lost something by separating spirituality so much from the natural world, unlike the Egyptians? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We began our journey under the searing heat of Ra, navigated the terrifying yet orderly judgment of Anubis, and rested under the protective wing of the Great Mother, Isis. What we have learned is that the Egyptian pantheon was not a collection of separate figures, but a unified force upholding a single crucial concept: Ma'at, the balance. Their gods were a mirror reflecting the fundamental human desire for order, meaning, and survival beyond death. The Egyptians didn't fear the gods. They revered them as necessary components of a functional universe. And so we bring this segment of our cultural journey to a close. We leave the sands of Egypt, but the lessons remain. Every culture, ancient or modern, builds its foundation on the stories it tells about the forces greater than itself. These stories provide comfort, structure, and a moral compass. Remember this: every culture is a complex tapestry woven from the threads of faith and tradition, and the journey to unravel it is perhaps never truly complete. Thank you for traveling with Culture Journey. If you enjoyed stepping into the mystical world of the Egyptian gods today, please take a moment to show your appreciation. Don't forget to hit the like button and let us know in the comments which Egyptian god or goddess's story resonated with you the most, and why. Was it the cosmic battle of Ra, or the healing devotion of Isis? Your interaction fuels our journey. Be sure to subscribe to Culture Journey and click the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you soon, fellow traveler.